Hello, this is Scott Baceno, editor of telecoms.com at AfricaCom 2014, and I'm talking to Mikko Lavanti, and you're the Chief Customer Officer of Corient.
Yes, I am, and Corient is a rather new company. We have a history of about 18 months, but actually the history goes about 30 years. This is the old NSN Siemens Optical business.
Okay, fine.
We came out of NSN and started the company in 1.5 years ago, roughly. The whole logic here is that we saw that the transport business in optical, it's going to continue to grow, and I'll explain later why. And we felt that the market is good investment story. We actually later on then integrated Sycamore. And just recently, about earlier this year, first quarter, we announced that we integrated also Tellabs.
Okay.
So together we are now 3 companies of long history providing end-to-end solutions for the optical transport globally.
So could you sort of expand a little bit more about what your sort of key strategies are in the optical business?
Yeah. It's all about, if you think about what's happening in the market, right? So the data demand on end customers, whether they are corporate or consumers, continues to grow, regardless if it's fixed or mobile access. And what we saw there is that there's a big demand when with this hyper growth, the operators will need to find ways on how do you do efficient transport.
Right.
And for that part, we have basically 3 main ideas what we have there. So first one is you need to be able to use the fiber which is on the ground already more efficiently. Yeah. And that's why we have put a lot of energy and effort on our side on how do you do the optical sort of transport in the right way. Just recently we got the Guinness World Record where we were putting together with Telkom Austria 57 terabits per second on a crystal fiber. So that's for the future topics, but just sort of showing that this is something that you need to be able to continue to get more bits into the fiber. Second part is that it's very important for both the OPEX and CAPEX that you have a right way on packaging the optical signals. And that's what people talk about, the packet optical. And we have just recently been awarded, we are the best in the industry for the packet optical on our solutions. So Heavy Reading was doing a article about this, and they ranked Corient number 1. And that's one of the benefits of bringing the old Siemens and old Tellabs together. So we have been able to bring that in there. And the third element, which I see happening a big time, is that the customers are looking for more intelligence.
Right.
So basically you have the issues on your revenue. So how am I going to be monetizing my investment here? And that's why we are launching. People talk about SDN a lot. So you'll have also later the chance to talk with our guys more about the SDN solution. But that for me, it's how you add the intelligence into the network so that you can do both better OPEX management, but also I think it's more in the future about how to do more services and generate new revenues for the operators.
And your customers, can you just give us a brief overview of what type they are and also the geographies that you cover?
Yeah. So Coriant is quite unique in this sense. So we cover all of the continents. So my role takes me all over the world all the time. And, I have teams we are covering more than 100 countries. We are covering today 45 of the top 50 spenders. So I start from Verizon and AT&T in the US. Verizon is a huge customer of ours. We are covering here in Africa, Telkom South Africa, Vodacom, BBI. I'll talk about those later. We are in with Vodafone. We are in with Telefonica. I serve China Telecom. I serve China Unicom. I serve China Mobile. NBN in Australia is a big customer of ours. American Mobile just signed up. So basically every continent, all of the guys, if you think about who needs to transport more bits, they are typically our customers.
Okay, well, that's a pretty broad reach. And so sort of, as you were just alluding to, refocusing on Africa as we're here right now, can you tell us a little bit more about your operations in the Africa market and maybe sort of how you see the Africa market for optical in general?
So Coriant is all about growth, right? So we came here to the industry to make a change, and basically the expectation for us is that we want to be among the top 2 optical vendors over the time. So what that means is that we are looking at places where you are having growth potential, both in terms of geography but also in terms of technology. And when I look at it, besides Asia Pacific and Latin America, where there's quite a lot of sort of growth has been for us, even the market is maybe a bit more flat, but people are seeing the value. Africa is clearly a place for growth. And here, of course, traditionally we have been very active in South Africa. So Telkom is a long-term customer of ours, as is Vodacom, as is BBI. But this brings, of course, we are expanding our interest in here because we see that the rise of let's say cheaper devices like we see in India right now, in Africa, that will be bringing the demand more and more to the market, and that's the reason why we want to be more active here also. So we are actively working through partners, but also directly in the developing markets. We have, like I maybe didn't mention it clear enough, but India has been a big growth area for us, and we think that some of the same products that we are able to sell in India will be very helpful here in connecting, communities, helping the countries to deploy their national broadband policies. So earlier today I had a discussion, for example, about the initiatives here in South Africa, and I think we have a lot to offer there on that side.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.